say apartment in Dutch?
Appartement.
Appartement. Sneak peek at the notes if you don't feel like listening to the whole video. I'm going to be a student, so I'm mostly talking about students, but this goes for anyone wanting to find a place in the Netherlands. If your university doesn't have specific housing for you, or your job doesn't have specific housing for you, you're probably going to be looking on the private housing market. There is social housing and private housing in the Netherlands. Social housing isn't just for Dutch citizens, it's for everyone. So everyone can qualify for social housing if they have a residence permit. The wait list is very long, so when you hear about the housing crisis, now people are waiting 50 years to find an apartment, that is when people are on the wait list. Many landlords use property management agencies, so that is a big difference to me coming from America. But here, it's these property management agencies that you're most likely going to be reaching out to find a place. Agencies usually charge a fee to see all the listings they have. So there might be one agency and they have 100 listings on their website, and to be able to see those listings or see more than one photo, then you're going to have to register. And often you have to pay as well to register, but there are some that are free. Some of them use a wait list, so the first person who registers with this housing agency will be the first one to get a choice of a new apartment or home or whatever you're renting. And then some of them, they let you register and you sign on whenever, but it doesn't matter when you first registered. It just matters if they want to choose you later for that home. So some agencies will have you write a motivation letter, include a photo of yourself, and those kind of things to see if you're the right fit. Others will choose the first to respond. So if there is a new listing and you immediately see it and send an email, they might choose you if all of your information works out with them. Or they might choose the person that they like the most at the viewing. They have a certain amount of people, and the first people who respond can go to the viewing. And then others, everyone can go to the viewing and they're going to choose who they get on with the best. Now onto these apartment hunting sites. So there are a few big ones, and I'm going to talk about them and then also talk about my favorite. So probably the most common ones that you'll hear about are Funda and Kamernet. And Funda is mostly for buying homes, so it's not the best option, at least in my region. There are not a lot of apartments. Kamernet is probably the most recommended for students, so they have it where I think it's 2 weeks, a month, a few months, and you pay a fee. And I think the fee is pretty high. Once you pay that subscription cost, it allows you to message the owner of the apartment, but often it is a rental agency, one of these management agencies I talked about before. So very often you can look up the address and find the agency that posted it on their own page, and then you can sign up there. Not always, because there are some people who post on there and don't post it anywhere else, but that is an option if you really find something you love on there and you don't pay. And my favorite website for apartment hunting is Pararius. Let's go with Pararius. So they list property rentals from all over the Netherlands and all over the internet. So they collect all these different listings. On Pararius, that's the pronunciation I chose, they will show all of these listings that aren't even on the agency's websites. So that's one thing I really like about it as well. And they also have an option that allows you to find agencies near you, so you can just go straight to the different agencies. So they have a page and they show all of their different agencies that they work with all over the Netherlands, and you can just click and go there and you can sign up on the different agencies pages if you'd like. I think that's a really good option, and I've been able to find a lot of good stuff and a lot of promising apartments and agencies and sign up to different things using Pararius. So I highly recommend that one. They also have an English version of their site, and they also have an expat guide on their website. I believe Funda and Kamernet are in Dutch. Yeah, I believe they're only in Dutch. And of course you can use Google Chrome and use the translate, but it's a little rocky sometimes. So and then there are other websites that are more region specific. If anyone is interested in those, I guess I can put some of those more region specific ones in the description box. So there are some non-traditional routes that you can take to finding a place. So Facebook is the first one, and there are Facebook groups, and there are also Facebook Marketplace that you can use. There are a lot of groups where people are listing a room because they're leaving, or they live in a student house and there's a vacancy, or they're renting out a spare bedroom, or it's an agent, and there's definitely scams too. So just be careful. Same with Marketplace. You can just search different keywords and find people that are renting apartments. Also is Marktplaats, which is a website and app. It's like the equivalent of Craigslist in America, pretty much. It's like, but there are actually apartments on there sometimes, like legit real ones. But again, be careful, please. Some of the keywords that you can use when you're looking are, okay, pronunciation is hard. Previous tenants of a place can sometimes recommend a new tenant. If they're moving out early, then they can find a new tenant so they can break their lease, or if they're just moving and want to help out the landlord, they can just let the landlord know, hey, I know this person, they're trustworthy, and then the landlord can rent it to you directly before they even have to go to a rental agency. Just let people know you're looking for a place, and they might be able to recommend you. And then the last kind of non-traditional route that I have here is called anti-crack housing or anti-squatter. But these are like old office buildings that are being converted into housing, like, so they don't have squatters. But that is another good option. It's very cost effective. They're never really expensive, but the downside of this is it may not look like a traditional house, and if a company decides that they want to sell the building, or if the building sells, then you will have a limited time to get out and move. So anyone can qualify for this housing benefit. You don't have to be a Dutch citizen, and this includes international students. So international students are also allowed to get the housing benefit. There is a maximum rent though, and it changes every year. So you can't get a place over this amount and then apply for housing benefit. It has to be this amount I'm going to state or lower. So for 2021, the maximum rent for a person that is 23 years or older, or there's a household where someone is 23 years or older, or if it's a household with someone with their own child, the maximum rent is 752 euros per month. And if you don't fit those previous qualifications, you're under 23, don't have a kid, then the maximum rent that you can have is 442 euros. So that's a little harder to come by. A lot harder to come by. There also is a maximum income. They have a calculator and you can put in your information, your income, who you live with, kids, all that, and they'll let you know if you qualify. But the apartment does have to fit certain qualifications, because you're probably hearing this and being like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like, yeah, it is. But it has to be like an independent dwelling. It can't be a room or anything like that. So you have to have your own kitchen, your own toilet, front door, address, and a few more things. And then finally, I want to talk about some unexpected costs. Well, now they're expected because I'm telling you, but unexpected costs when you are going into private housing. Utilities are often not included in the rent. With social housing, very often it's all combined, but with private housing, you are going to be paying those utilities like your water, sewage, gas, electricity, internet. Not always. Some of them do have some of those bundled in, but usually you're going to be paying a bit extra. And then the first of the year, if you're registered with the I guess like town hall, if you're registered with the town hall or the gemeente, I'll put the word on the screen. You're going to have to pay all of your sewage and all of your garbage costs in one chunk then, and you'll pay for the whole year. Many apartments here don't, like when they say unfurnished, they mean unfurnished, like unfurnished. People will say it's kind of like upholstered if it does have all the fixins, but a lot of apartments don't. So they will come with no floor, no lights, no paint on the walls, no fresh paint, no appliances, no refrigerator, no dishwasher, no washing machine, no nothing. Like you'll have a sink, no stove, you'll have windows, like you'll have a toilet. And I don't quite get the logic of what counts, because I've heard like, oh, if it's on the wall, that's the landlord's responsibility. But I'm like, I don't know, that's not really tried and true, because like the new paint that goes on the wall, some lights go on the wall and stuff. Like there are a lot of fixtures that are on the wall, but you still have to provide. So it's a little complicated to figure out what is what. But that's another unexpected cost, especially if you are not in the country and you get a place and you move in, sights unseen, you might be shocked that you have no floor. So that's just something to ask, because that is normal here. I thought it was so ghetto at first, but that's normal here. But yeah, I think that's it. That's all I've got. Notes done. Calcifer says goodbye as well. I'm sitting in his fireplace, so he came out.